My work has given me a chance to see different parts of the world and also from the air. And I realized we live in a global grid system, and mostly the so-called nature that surrounds us is looking like this. When it used to be a rich biotope that hosts many kinds of ecological systems and processes that support each other, but this supports wheat and world market, and most of the planet actually looks like this. So wilderness is not what it used to be. It doesn't host, for example, native Australian animals like it used to be. Nature has become a dangerous place for many creatures that should have home here. And this breaks my heart, and I gave myself a task to get closer to these misunderstood or declining or some even hated or simply not known to anybody species that are about to go. And in many cases the science doesn't even, or Wikipedia also doesn't publish that some creature is close to extinction because there's simply no data, there's no statistics which would tell how many individuals there probably is. It means it's not even categorized as threatened even if it's close to extinction, but as common. So there is already a huge problem because then there is no interest by anybody to protect it, no money, and the extinction happens before anybody knows about it. So here is one of the cute criminals brought by Europeans, fox. Domestic cat is probably the worst thing to happen after wheat farming from the viewpoint of Australian fauna. Some lucky animals have a sanctuary where they can breed and live safely from cats or hopefully bushfires too. But the numbers are so small, some creatures only come in dozens, not even hundreds. So this concentration camp looking construction is hosting woylies. For example, my visit to Dryandra sanctuary, Barnamia to be specific, it's kind of very secretive institution to host malas and marlas and bilbies and other creatures like this. It was a turning point in my understanding how badly the world is actually doing. So those very lucky creatures, they have a cat-free area where they can breed, but because they don't have money to build a second cage with right kind of vegetation that they scientifically should eat, they don't have a chance to let them breed. So there is efforts to keep up going with these species, and some efforts, a little bit of funding to some lucky species. But I realized that this idea of wild, or how the wild should live, how the creatures should live, it's dominated by our idea of the wild. The wilderness ideal is more important than preserving the life of a species. So I thought there must be, because wilderness doesn't host the creatures anymore, it's dangerous. And secondly, because there's no money for conservation, there must be a third way to put somewhere these little animals that nobody wants. I realized that they are pets of the scientists who visit these compounds, and the animals are there waiting for attention and maybe little treat and communication. So I thought, why not to give them as pets? If Michael Jackson wants to save bandicoots and provide them a good home on his land, why not to let him? Because it's better, after all, that bandicoots exist somehow, even if it would be a little bit wrong in our aesthetic view of the wild. But, for example, domestic cats, they, in the wild version, they would never touch dead food, but in living rooms, they are happy to eat dry pellets all life through. And they get vet services, and this status of being a pet should be granted to so many more creatures, just to give them a chance to live a little bit longer, because we dominate the world order to such extent that if you're not cute enough or national symbol or benefit from human activity one way or another, like great kangaroos do, then you will be wiped off from this planet. In my research among the wildlife rescuers and animal caretakers and wildlife rehabilitators, which was my way to get close to these animals, I realized that people have very intimate, loving relationship to these creatures, and even after a couple of weeks from through injury or exhausting or some other reason falling into the hands of these kind people, even after a couple of weeks they are perfect pets. They love to interact with people and love the attention. This oblong turtle, so-called long-necked turtle, but Western form of it. So based on this, I created these designs. That it's an open source project at the same time. I spent yesterday posting this data to different institutions that I worked with. For example, Kenyana was very helpful, and Malifaux Center in Ongerup, and Dryandra, other places like this, and individual people, for example, Gilbert's Potoru Action Group, who have managed to raise the number of Gilbert's Potoru from 20 to 100. Yoo-hoo! So I give it free to print any kind of product they like out of my designs and sell it with profit, and donate this profit to the protection of the species.